Welcome one and all finally to another episode of the Need for Speed Most Wanted Mod Showcase, and in today's episode, finally after with Carbon now completely finished now the way we can focus back to where we were, starting first with a bunch of some high-end race cars, the first of which being the Nissan R390 GT1, the 1997 Short Tail Edition. This is pretty much converted from the first grid game, and interestingly enough, this car also replaces the Mercedes-Benz SL500, which is a bit of an interesting choice. It's one of the lower ranked cars in the game. To explain, I did actually try recording this, but the recording didn't work out. Something bad happened, so yeah. It's a little bit frustrating that it did, but yeah. All you can really do is just put a body kit. You can actually put vinyls on this if you decide to go with the stock here, but because I like the body one, and most of these actually generally look fine, but because I like the way the body one looks, we're going to be sticking with that. So for this, of course, if you haven't been watching the series for a while, or it's been such a while that you've now kind of fallen out of the loop of things, basically what I do is take these mod cars around the Petersburg test track, as I tend to call it, it's really just called Petersburg, but you know, give the cars about roughly 3 flying laps, which and as well as of course a standing lap, which makes it 4 laps. And whichever lap time out of all those attempts is the fastest gets put onto a leaderboard. You kind of compare it to where a bunch of other mods are, and we find out exactly whether or not it's a good mod to use or not. Usually, good mods are ones that do really well and and in some cases can go quite quick. I mean, overly quick cars, it just comes down all the preference really by that point. But some cars that at least are pretty quick, but not overly quick, usually rank amongst some of my favorite. I mean, some of the top cars, I love them for being how silly they are, but if we're talking just general driving experience, it's usually around, honestly, what I'm kind of getting the feel for right now with the R390. I already know how these cars drive, so kind of just coming back to it again. But generally, the R390 is just really quick around the corners. It can carry a lot of good speed, doing about roughly 230 miles an hour, and I mean, if that doesn't hint you there, it's a 54.5-second lap time on the standing lap, then we'll definitely be getting a pretty good lap out of this. So we'll just have to keep going at the pace here and cut in through there nice and close. That was very well done, actually. I'll try to keep a good line through the corners there. A little bit on the rough edge there, but it's perfectly fine. Just kind of cut through here. And roughly nearly 230 miles an hour. But yeah, this is a definite upgrade from the SL500, because the SL500 was sluggish. Its handling wasn't very supreme, and it was kind of, you know, a bit on the slower side. It's one of the lower end cars in the vanilla car list. It wasn't the worst Mercedes-Benz. The worst was the CLK 500. And look at that, 50.51. That's a really good lap. But oh wow, the amount of sudden turn I got from that was a bit sudden, but basically though, we got a really quick car on our hands here. It's just nice and smooth. It's got great top end. Handling's very sharp and clean. Doesn't really try to snap on you and try to get all over the place. It's just nice and refined, basically. Ooh, and that was a little bit close. Okay, might have screwed that one up a little bit slightly, but that's fine, because we do have one more attempt after this. Well, that was a really good entrance. And look at that, 50.12. Despite that, let's see what we can get with this last lap here. A little bit off the throttle, nicely done. Very good. I have a good feeling about this so far. Should this keep up? Yes, nicely done. I'm really feeling this car right now. It's all kind of working out. Kind of hit the wall a little bit, not too bad. Nicely done. Over 190 through there. I really love the speed, the feeling of speed that you get in this game. Just, it's so nice to come back to stuff like this after Carbon, where it really wasn't entirely like that. But with Most Wanted, I can just come back to this and get back to what I was more used to, and it's a nice feeling, to say the least. Anyways, last corner there on that last attempt wasn't the best. And ooh, it was close, but we'll take that. A 50.12 is a very, very strong lap there. I will definitely take that. Yes, sir. Very well done. Anyways, next we're going to have is another, of course, high-end racing car that's kind of widely forgotten by the manufacturers, the Ferrari F50 GT, and I'm not going to really go through any of the customization because for this particular mod, even though there is an F50 GT mod that allows you to use the vinyls from the Need for Speed Shift on the Xbox 360 version, this particular version doesn't have those. Although, thankfully, though, you can paint it and put the in-game vinyls to kind of make up for that, so this is what I was using last time around. So anyways, but this replaces the 997 Porsche 911 Carrera S, and as a result, it sounds pretty much exactly the same as the Porsche 911 Carrera S. I guess the modder just had no interest in changing the exhaust note of the car, so oops. That's not gonna matter too much though. Let's just see how we get on here with the F50 GT around the track. No. So it's kind of a bit weird having a Ferrari here. You know, this kind of Ferrari would be running like a V12 or something like that. And yet here we got a car that sounds like a straight 6, which is a bit odd. No, but if anything is definitely true right now compared to that R390, the handling on this is definitely sharper. It's a lot more grippier, it's a lot more noticeable, but it is on the slower side. I'm not getting the same kind of top end that I was getting in that R390. R390 I was able to reach around 230 miles an hour. The F50 GT looks like it only wants to do about 210, so that's a difference of about 20 miles an hour, which may not sound like a whole lot, but it really is. It definitely is. The 6th gear doesn't seem like it's got that much to it. It really feels kind of like there's almost nothing to it, really. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but hey, we're just gonna keep going here and seeing exactly what we can make out of this. So, ooh, nice and close to that corner there. Very well done. Easy now. Go around. Nice. Kept it off all the walls. Just keeping a good sense of speed here. Just kind of go straight like that, because well, you can. 200 and about 210. I think that hit nearly 212. I think I saw a glimpse of 212 on that one. Yeah, this is looking good. This is looking very, very good. I'd still say this is probably just under 53-second capable car, but we'll see if we can manage that. Hey, look at that. I actually did manage it. 52.74 for the F50 GT so far. But we do have a couple more laps, so can we make any more time out of this car? Excuse me. It would be pretty interesting to see if it can, so I'm going to definitely try to go for it. I just got to keep trying here and see what I can do with this car. Oh, nice entrance to that. Very nice entrance. Kept a lot of speed going through that. Alright, there we go. Ooh, look at that. I even saw a glimpse of 213. That was a good. That's one of those glimpses. Damn it! I was looking forward to this lap too. So, what are we even dealing with top end here? Apparently, this thing can do 254, but judging by that final gear, I would have never guessed. So yeah, and I know that's technically a little bit on the cheap side, but considering the bad entry, I'm going to let it slide just for this time. So, but yeah, even still, I think that lap time that I did the first time around would make it the best lap I've ever done with this car, because the previous attempt I believe was slower, so. But yeah, this is working out pretty well. Nice. Nice, like, good entries through a lot of these corners, so. We can just definitely keep up the momentum here and hopefully get to the quote-unquote promised land of where I would like to see this car perform. But that corner there, that might have screwed a couple things up though. So I think we're gonna be stuck with the time we have. So oops. Oh well. Could be worse though. But regardless, that was still a quick lap, and yep, 52.74 is the lap that we're gonna settle with, and that's perfectly fine with me because that was better than the last attempt I tried this. I think the part that I lost, I think that was a 52.87. So, anyways, and finally, we have perhaps the most interesting of the three cars to me, the Mazda Furai concept. this is what could have potentially have been the successor to the ever-loved and appreciated by at least a lot of car enthusiasts, 787B, that won the 19 was won. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this was the year though. Won the 1991 24 Hours of Le Mans, becoming the first which made Mazda the first Japanese manufacturer to win at Le Mans, and to this date the only manufacturer, although we've seen two very close attempts from Toyota, first in 1999 and again just this past year. They were even closer this past year, but only like 6 minutes to go, the car just sadly, their TSO50 sadly broke down, which is quite a bit unfortunate, but that is endurance racing for you. But regardless, though, the Furai could have potentially been something good. Now, there's probably no way this car would have been able to run in Le Mans because the rotary engine style that was used in the 787B, it got banned after the 91 season. The reason being is because the car not only won the Le Mans, even though it had, because even despite it being the most like one of the thirstiest cars, needing fuel more often than any of its other competitions, the car was insanely reliable, so it was able to keep driving and driving and driving without needing to pull into the pits to try to fix anything up. The car could just keep going, which kind of helped the car out, and plus it was really fast too, which also helped the thing out. And when the car finished and won, the people found out that the engine was in such good condition that if the car wanted to go and do the 24 Hours of Le Mans all over again, the engine still had the lifespan to do so. It could run another 24 hours if it wanted to, which I think that was where they kind of said, yeah, if this is the case, people will constantly be switching to rotaries, which we don't quite want and everything, or all this kind of stuff, so we kind of outright banned it, which sucks because I really think they shouldn't have done that, but it is what it is. But the Furai was probably one of the most interesting concepts that Mazda made, and it really sucks that it didn't quite go anywhere else. So 50.92, I think that's the fastest I've ever driven the Furai with. But yeah, it sucks that the Furai didn't really go anywhere. It probably was originally going to, but what ended up happening is this concept was revealed in 2008, and to try to get some articles, stuff, and to talk about how the car felt and everything, the Top Gear magazine was given permission to drive the Furai around and get a feel for the car, and whilst they were testing the car, it caught fire, and the car kind of burnt down. So it was probably when that happened when Mazda decided that maybe it's best not to focus on the car. And plus, this car was was created around the time of the the big economic recessions, which probably also hampered its chances. So unfortunately, it didn't really get anywhere, which really sucks. And this last slap's a dud, but honestly, at least we could still look at it, and this is a fantastic design of this car. I think, like, this personal Furai model, I think was based off of a 3D modeling, not a conversion from any game. Although it could have easily, if someone wanted to, they could have easily ripped the model from the later Forza titles, at least for example, something like Forza Motorsport 4, and be able to use that model. But for a 3D modeling, this is really well done. And this, by the way, replaces the Porsche 911 Turbo S, the 996, and it can be painted. Can't put any body stuff on it, but I put the carbon fiber vinyl to kind of get a bit of a closer color to what the Furai had. So you know, it works. Anyways, I thought I'd just kind of do some kind of dramatic finish there, because why not? But yeah, 50.70. That's definitely a better lap time than I set the last time I drove this car. So yeah, it's kind of a good thing, I guess, I came back at this part, because I came back to because stuff fucked up, and this time around, it's a good thing that it did, because now I was able to take all three cars and do faster lap times, which is awesome. So that should be pretty interesting to see when they go on the leaderboard. So that, of course, means, as always, we come over to our leaderboard, and the fastest car of the day in 15th place was the Nissan R390 GT1 with a 50.12 second lap time, beating out a previous previous first place holder, the Peugeot 406 Taxi, with beating out by just 0.5. and is only a little bit off of the Proton Waja that we saw in the last episode, and a little bit back on the Skyline GTR 34. A little further down into 20th place is the Mazda Furai with a 50.7 flat lap time, just beating out the Honda Civic Si Coupe by 0.8, and only barely behind the Corvette C5R by mere 0.2, and also a little bit back on the Koenigsegg CCX Elite. And finally, the last car of the day, in 26th place, is the Ferrari F50 GT, doing a 52.74 second lap time, beating out the Volkswagen W12 by a mere 0.3, and only a little bit back on the Ford GT40 Mark II. So that's going to do it, of course, for this episode. If you enjoy what you see here, you can tweet at me, or you could tweet at me if you want to, but... So that's going to do it for this episode, guys. You can follow me at Twitter at HGCentralYT if you just want to keep in contact the best, you want to see the latest updates, or just chat or any stuff like that. You can donate to my Patreon if you want to help support the account. I generally appreciate everything you decide to send to that if you do. It's not required, but if you do, thank you very much. And as always, of course, like I just said, thank you very much for watching, and take care.